Hey, it's me, JoJo from Jerz, and shocker, I have something to say. I want to talk about Ronna McDaniel being hired and fired from NBC. And first and foremost, let me just say that it's a good thing that she was fired. It's a necessary thing. And while we shouldn't even be having this conversation because that traitor trash shouldn't have been hired at all by NBC to begin with, she was. But I'm willing to acknowledge the fact that they listened to us. They listened to the real journalists at the network and the hardworking staff on their payroll. And they did the right thing. Ish. Because they seriously effed up when they hired her to begin with. And sometimes an action is so bad, a mistake is so grave, and a fuck up is so irreparable that no remedy is really enough to undo it, forgive it, or excuse it. Like, it's damn near impossible to accurately convey just how profoundly they fucked up here. It's akin to Panera posthumously making Jeffrey Dahmer their new corporate chef. It's like adding Steve Bannon to the Council on Healthy Eating. It's like making a xenophobic rapist reality TV game show host the President of the United States of America. Oh, wait. There's a reason we all stood up and said a collective F no instantly upon hearing the news of her hiring. And it's not that she's a Republican. There are plenty of those all over every major news outlet. They outnumber leggy blondes at this point. We're used to them by now. Most of the time, they're actually just as, if not more insightful than the bleeding heart liberals on those shows because they speak the old GOP language. They also saw Trump, looked around at each other, and were like, are you sticking around for this shit? Because I'm not sticking around for this shit. And they walked away. Anyway, my point is that it wasn't that we couldn't handle a Republican on our channels. It was that we wouldn't accept a traitor. We wouldn't accept someone who not only eagerly assisted Trump in his attempts to thwart democracy, but someone who hasn't stopped trying to do so in the years since. She's still saying there were problems with the 2020 election, still to this very day, when there is no proof whatsoever to make that claim. And if we're supposed to be turning on the news to receive vetted information from trusted sources and that mole-faced liar is saying shit about the legitimacy of election, we might as well get our breaking news from Roger, the local day drunk and Hitler hobbyist down at the Applebee's 1:45 in the afternoon. Beyond all of that, what truly pissed me off the most was that she didn't belong with the likes of Psaki, O'Donnell, Velshi, Wallace, and Maddow. She didn't undermine all that they've accomplished because no one ever could. And she didn't tarnish their individual integrity. But the mere association to the name-changing chick who said on Meet the Press this past Sunday that she took one for the team as it pertained to helping Trump with the fake elector scheme was enough to muddy their experience with us and ours with them. Not to mention the fact that she's gone after them for doing their jobs in the past. It was like your ex forcing you to accept that he'd hired his mistress to babysit your kids and you didn't get a say. It wasn't fair. Those anchors knew it wasn't fair, and they said so. They said it out loud. And I don't know if y'all have looked around lately, but that doesn't really happen anymore. They risk their jobs to speak out against their bosses and their new colleague. They got msnbc to promise they wouldn't let her appear on any of their shows. And now they've gotten NBC News to fire her. They stood up, they spoke out, and they said no. And they have since earned every ounce of praise and respect they've received for doing so. They were where we were. We were where they were. We all seem to understand instantly that these are not normal times. These are extraordinary times. Our very democracy is on the ballot in November, and we can't fuck around with traitors for Trump team players being granted the legitimacy and platform of a network job. So, NBC corrected course. They fired Ronna. They effed up. They owned it. And here's hoping they've learned from it. The real upside here, though, is that this further confirms in a year when we need to tattoo this shit on our brains that we, the people, are much stronger than the people in power. The journalists at MSNBC and NBC just made this point loud and clear. And every one of us who spoke out did too. We can be the change we seek. We can stand up, stand together, and reject the realities others would like to impose upon us. We have to take this energy into November. Anytime we think it's too hard, anytime we think it's helpless or hopeless, anytime we think we just can't, just look at what just happened. And then remind yourself, to borrow a phrase from a certain fellow named Barack, that yes, we can. Yes, we can. And we will. So, bye-bye, Ronna, team player, to think you changed your name and all you got was fired from NBC and a fucking t-shirt. Well, that does it for today's rant. Make sure you check out my Are You Effing Kidding Me Substack and new episodes of my Are You Effing Kidding Me podcast, which is available anywhere you get your pods. See you next time.